Costilla County Planning Commission duties and powers. The Costilla County Planning Commission shall have the following powers and duties under the provisions of these land use regulations for all matters within the unincorporated portions of Costilla County. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 1, prepare, amend comprehensive plan. Number 2, recommend amendments to the text of this land use code. Number 3, recommend amendments to the official zone district map. Number 4, uses by limited review to hear, review, consider, and approve. Approve with conditions or disapprove. Applications for limited impact review permits, uses by special review, to hear and to review and to consider and to make recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners to approve with conditions, or disapprove applications for special review permits. Subdivision, to hear, review, consider, and make recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners to approve with conditions, or disapprove applications for development permit for sketch plans and preliminary plans for subdivision. C, land use administrator. So this is the planning and zoning laws of Costilla County, duties and responsibilities of the land use administrator. The land use administrator or his designated representatives shall have the following powers and duties under the provisions of these land use regulations for all matters within the unincorporated portions of Costilla County: administer all ordinances and regulations, requirements, and provisions of this code, enforce the provisions of this code, review and approve with conditions, or disapprove applications for variances from the provisions of this code, perform the duties of secretary to the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners when acted upon land use issues, review, consider and approve with conditions, or disapprove applications for administrative land use permits, review, consider and make recommendations to the Planning Commission to approve with conditions, or disapprove applications for limited review and special review, consider and make recommendations to the Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners to approve with conditions, to disapprove applications for subdivision. Section 6.40, general application and review procedures. Let's take a moment and let's just spit out some facts. When I moved into Costilla County, they actually raised the rates. So I moved to Costilla County November 2019. And I went in completely legal. I had my septic already installed. I had my septic permit paid for and approved and installed and approved. So come on in. My septic tank, I already paid my road access. I had a building permit, my septic permit. So I had to finish the house. That same month, Costilla County Commissioners raised planning and zoning rates that same month. So how much, just to give you an idea of how much these rates are, because Conejos County is a lot cheaper. For like a shed, it costs like $25, a $25 permit. But in Costilla County, it's like $300. A permit to construct a driveway. If you want to construct a driveway, Robert Pickrell, you're going to have to pay for a permit, a minor development permit. That's $300. The minor development permit, it also covers a deck, a trench, a cistern, a culvert, or electrical line. Now, I'm wondering if those are individuals or all together. It's probably one for each one, right? A minor development permit for a culvert, for a cistern, for a trench, for a deck, and for an electrical line. The permit cost for a septic tank is $500. And you must get the septic tank approved prior to ordering. If the septic tank needs repairs or needs to be expanded, that's another $325 permit on top of the contractor cost. If you're going to construct a brand new house, it depends on the size of your house. If it's over 2,500 square feet, that's a $600 permit. A 600 square feet building requires a $300 permit, and then there's the sizes in between. So Robert Pickrell needed to at least pay for what, $300, $400 permit On top of it, I mean, you needed the driveway permit, that's $300, and then the house permit, I mean, that's $400, right? $400 or $500, depending on the size. The septic tank, that's a $500 permit. There's a septic tank out there, and we don't even know if that's approved or not. Doesn't even look like it was dropped deep enough. If you remodel or expand, that's a $300 permit. So if you remodel or expand, it's a $300 permit if you remodel or expand. If you add an accessory building, it's another $300 permit. If you want to build an accessory structure, that's only a $100 permit. So that's interesting. If you want an accessory building on, off to the side of your house, that's $300 permit. But if you just want an accessory structure, well, that's $100. So it's better to just build a bunch of sheds instead of building an extra room. That'd be a $300 permit. But if you just build a room by itself, I don't know. If you pull a trailer onto your own land, that's a $300 permit unless it's a double wide. If it's a double wide, that's a $350 permit. If you camp in a tent, you can do so, but just for 2 weeks maximum, and you can do it for free. So that's nice. Costilla County will allow you to camp in a tent on your own land for 2 weeks maximum, and then you gotta skedaddle if you live in an RV, or if you're camping in an RV on your own land, you got to get a short-term RV permit. They don't have those long-term RV permits anymore. Short-term RV permits, I think, is for 90 days, 3 months. That's $350. $350, which actually, 90 days, 3 months, that's still what, $100 a month? Rent is $500, $600, $1,000, depending on where you're at. So you're still saving money. You're still saving money by paying for these permits if you're on the up and up. He at least stayed out there for, 2 90-day periods in an RV. So he owes like that $700 just for the short-term RV permit. I had to make sure I was paying for all my stuff. And then when I was worried about paying for my stuff, and then I'm on a time limit, and then I got to go to the lumber yard. But, you got Robert Pickerel. He didn't want to pay for any of this stuff, so he's criminalizing me since I'm setting a good example. I'm setting a good example, so he's a devil-worshipping felon, just a low-life, degenerate piece of shit. Right-wing sovereign. He thinks that he's above the fucking law. He thinks he's above the fucking law. Criminal, terrorist, sovereigns. These motherfuckers have no regard for anybody else. If you want to use Costilla County roads, you got to pay for a $300 road access permit. So Robert Pickerel hasn't paid for $300 road access permit. He hasn't paid for the short-term RV permits when he was staying there. So that's $700, $300. That's $1,000 right there. Then he didn't have a trailer or a double wide, remodel and expanding, accessory building. Occupancy permit, flood permit, floodplain permit, whatever that is, they're both $300. That's the end. Once you got all the permits, then you apply for the occupancy permit. Then you also get a $20 physical address fee. So you pay for your physical address, you get your occupancy permit, and then you're in like Flynn. A floodplain permit, I'm not for sure. Is that saying you could build there if you just pay $300? A demolition permit is $100. A demolition permit, all those arsons out there by the Labatter Bridge, all those arsons, they owe $100 to demolish those. I bet you none of them arsonists paid for their demolition permits. There's also a $50 contractor fee, a $20 renewal contractor fee. What does that mean? You're paying a permit for a contractor to come on your land? I'm mixed actually when it comes to planning and zoning. I like an orderly development. I like the intentions. They have a lot of great intentions for the innovation and development. I think that's wonderful. Just do it for that reason. Why are we going to uphold the planning and zoning? Because of innovation and development. What's crazy about planning and zoning is that they're taxing growth. They're taxing improvements. If I have a community and you got 10 houses in a community, I want everybody improving their land. I want everybody getting big ass fences and gates and having, 400 different cars, doing their thing. I want people to do well. And I want people to improve their lot in life. When other people improve their lot in life, they increase their own property values, but they increase the property value of the community. There's also a $200 permit violations processing fee. You violated the permit, so that's a $200 fee, and then a $100 inspection fee. So if you add it all up, that means Robert Pickerel owes Costilla Countyans about $2,400, right? $300 road access permit, $300 minor development permit for a driveway, a $500 septic tank permit, $400 for a new construction permit, $700 for at least 2 terms for a short-term RV permit, and a $200 permit violations processing fee. He's also going to have to work on getting a cistern and then plumbing and electricity, and then get that occupancy permit. But so far, these are all the permits that of all the stuff that he's done out there he was supposed to pay for. But he said, nah, fuck Costilla County, fuck the planning and zoning people. He don't give a shit about any of you rat bastard fucks. He went ahead and built his house, and then it was interesting because he was harassing me, and they were having a party. It was like, goddamn, he was, Robert Pickerel seemed to be everywhere. Robert Pickerel's over at Hiram Richardson's, at Nick and Noah's house, and then at Bertini and Roman's house. He seemed to know there was a guy with the overall bibs. There was some guy in a food truck. Kenny Capon kept on visiting Robert Pickerel all the time. God, I mean, everybody was basically, they propped him up on the shoulders. I mean, Hiram Richardson, I heard was the mayor, but maybe Robert Pickerel's the damn mayor. I'm not for sure.